So hello everyone, in this video we'll be creating a simple calculator program in JavaScript that will allow us to add two numbers basically, and subtract two numbers, multiply and divide. So basic fundamental operations it will do. So let me just create those functions, and first of all what I will do is I'll write num1 as the variable, let's say 5, and num2. What we can do is we can grab it from the user. That will be a great thing. If I write something, let's say enter first number, and then in another prompt we can ask enter second number, so both these numbers will be stored inside that. Now what we can do is either we can create two things, that we can create different function for sum. Let's say if I create a function for doing sum, I can grab num1 and num2, and I can return the simple num1 and num2 sum. Similarly, I can create other functions. Let's say for subtract, I can subtract both these numbers. I can multiply in another function. I can give the multiplication result, and I can also divide them. So it will be a division, and the result will be returned to us. Now what we can do is here, instead of like executing these functions manually, what I will do is I'll create a simple, let me just write. Now what I will do is, instead of grabbing it from the user, I can create two inputs and then I can grab it. So that will be more easier and will make more sense. So instead of creating these num1 and num2, let me just create two input elements. I can create it with the help of JavaScript, as well as I can directly create here as well if I want. Let's say calculator. Now here I'll create a simple input, number input basically, and then I can specify the ID. Let's say num1, and then I can add another number which is num2. If you want to add some placeholders and stylings and other things, that you can also do. Now let me just grab these numbers inside this. So I think that will make more sense. So earlier I was trying something different, but now I'll do something different. So I'll grab it by get element by ID, or basically we can create at the top num1l. We can grab it by the input, num2, and now what I can do is, instead of providing it here, I will do something inside this. So I can grab the num1, and here what I can do is I can grab the num1 element value, not the area value but the value, and num2 will be num2 element value. Value is basically the attribute that we can access from an input element. Now instead of returning, I'll just be simply adding a document.write, or instead what we can do is we can also write a simple header element that will show us the result. That will also be a good thing. I can write header, or basically result, is it the same ID? Yeah, it's the same ID. Now I'll just be providing result dot inner HTML as the input. Sum, I can provide the sum, and I can close it. So this is a simple thing that we did. Now what I can do is I can do the same thing in here as well in other functions, and here I can give the subtraction. Here I can give the multiplication, and instead of sum I'll have to write multiplication result, and I can write subtraction result, and in here also we can provide that, and I can write division result. That will be good. And yeah, so this is it. Now in here we have the division. Yeah, so we have completed our all the functions. Now I'll create simple buttons that will basically allow us to uh, do summation and other things. Why it's happening? Okay, let me just. Okay, so these are two inputs. Let me just add a placeholder as well, so that will be easier. Num1, basically number one. Enter number one, and enter number two. Okay, now here I'll create simple button. These button will be basically executing the functions. So sum, I can write a plus symbol here, or if you want to add some fav icons, so you can also grab it from other ways, right? So let's do subtract, or basically subtract was there. Yeah, subtract. I can write minus symbol, multiply, I can give the multiplication symbol, and divide, I can give the divide symbol. If you want to write something, let's say, so you can do that as well. Let's say I'm writing some numbers. Let's say I'm writing 5 and 3. If I add the sum, so you can see it is giving 53. So this is not correct. What we have to do is we also have to convert them into numbers, because generally what they do is they are treated as strings whenever we grab it from the uh, let me just close it. Whenever we'll be grabbing it from the input, so it will be treated as string, not the numbers, so we have to convert it to number type, then that will work. If I do that again, you can see it is now correct. Simply what we can do is simply do we can do it for others as well if you want to do. So let me just copy it and we can paste it. So now it will work. So if I add 5 and 3, if I add the sum, so you can see it is 8. If I add the division, so you can see, oh, it's subtraction, so it will give me 2. And if I add the multiplication, it will give me 15, and the division will give me 1.66 and so on. So this was our program. I hope you liked it, and you can make it more fancier by using styles. That's up to you. But we did the more logic part or logical part in JavaScript. I hope you got something. Thank you for watching. Let's meet in the next video.